It's time we go back to Professor X's school for the gifted. And we are going to talk about one specific character in that of Gambit. Now, we all love Gambit. We know he has to be, and he will be in the MCU here in the near future. And this is my top 5 actors that could play Gambit. And yes, I realize these are Uno cards. I don't have normal playing cards for some weird reason. So with that, you know what? Draw 2. Hello everyone out there in the world, I hope you're staying safe here in the crazy times that is 2020. And while you're being safe and hanging out at home, eating some pizza, watching some awesome Netflix, thank you for tuning into Nerd News. I'm your host, Chris Chavez. This is a show created for nerds by a nerd. Ain't that right, Walter White? That rhymed, and that was an accident. Now, I wanted to revisit my X-Men fan casting, I guess you would say series, because, well, let's face it, X-Men is one of the best teams in comic book history, and some really good movies, some bad movies, but they're coming back to the MCU, and they're going to be good movies yet again. And when we talk about the X-Men, my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters in that of Gambit, keeps popping up in my mind. We have seen him in a live-action movie once, and it was, well, we've seen him once. And Gambit is no doubt a fan favorite. Fans just want to see this cool Cajun thief that steals your girl. He's just a cool guy, man. And we know he's going to be recast when the MCU finally gets that franchise going and mixes them into the world that they've already created. And with that comes the actor who is going to play this character. And that is why I wanted to do a top 5 actors list on who could play this role, because, well, it's just awesome. But before, like we do each and every episode, if this is your first time here, I would love it if you hit that like, subscribe, the notification bell. Now, that notification bell will pretty much erase all the things X-Men Apocalypse from your mind.
Seriously, that was a really bad movie.
But like I said, when it comes to the X-Men, we have seen Gambit in the live-action realm once. So love him or hate him, actor Tyler Kutch played this title character, and it was met with a mixed bag of emotions. Or a mixed bag of cards, let's say Uno cards. I mean, Taylor did a good job in this role on certain points. I mean, when the movie started, you finally first saw the character, he had the Cajun accent, and then after his introduction scene, the accent just went out the window. X-Men Origins Wolverine had some cool elements, one of the best openings in a comic book movie, but that wasn't enough to save the horrible disaster that was that film. Do I have to mention Deadpool? Now, there have been some fan-made films that have come out on YouTube that are just bloody brilliant. Seriously, when you get a chance, just YouTube Gambit fan film. But with big blockbuster films, you're gonna need some top-quality actors to fill in those roles. To fill the seats, to get the moolah, to get the cream, the cheddar, dollar bills, you know? But with that, let's start this list. I think I actually hit the camera on that one. Alright, so first actor on this list, by the way, this is in no particular order, no favorite order, it's just the order I selected. The first actor on this list that could play Gambit is Matthew Bowmer. Now, Matthew is best known for a fantastic show called White Collar. If you haven't seen it, his charisma carries that show immensely. And yes, Matthew Bowmer was also in Magic Mike. There's that. But the crazy thing is, Matthew has been on the comic book radar for a while. He auditioned to be Superman during the Superman Returns film days, if you will, the one that Brandon Routh eventually got. But Matthew didn't go very far when it came to comic book content. He was cast in Doom Patrol, so he's currently doing that, which is fantastic because it's a fun show. Now, he does look the part. He is a little bit, I don't want to say shorter, but he is kind of shorter. Gambit, I think, is taller. But he's a very versatile actor. When you watch White Collar, like I said, he's very cocky, he's very arrogant, he's the ladies' man, and that's everything that Gambit needs to be. Also in the show White Collar, he does white-collar crimes. You know, theft. He steals things. What is Gambit? He's a thief. But like I said, with him being a versatile actor, he has a good range of emotions when it comes to his projects that he's done. But I think the saving grace with Matt Bowmer is the show White Collar. That pretty much is Gambit, just, you know, add in the Gambit elements, and that pretty much is a great audition for the role. So Matt Bowmer, you are on the list. Thank you, sir. Next, we're going to move on to the Dreamboat, the man who you get lost in his eyes because he has been a vampire, and that is Ian Somerhalder. Ian Somerhalder. I said that wrong. Tongue twister. Now, the crazy thing is, Ian has been linked to Gambit for a long time. I mean, it's not hard to see why. The man literally represents Gambit, I think, more physically than Matt Bowmer does. Ian always plays that chip on his shoulder, that like, you know, you're nothing. I mean, have you seen me? I'm better than you. And a perfect example of that is when he played Damon on The Vampire Diaries. Now, Damon is this rough, just vampire who just doesn't care anymore. He does what he wants. He gets any lady that he wants. He knows he's attractive, and he just walks around town like he owns the place. That's Gambit. Now, Ian is a little bit older, but I think he physically looks younger than what he actually, you know, what his age actually is. But throw on that costume, the purple costume, and I think he would look very good in that role. He has the swagger to play Gambit, and I believe he can do good accents. He's a good actor, but that arrogance, Damon is a good audition for him for this. Yeah, Ian, you would make a really good Gambit, so, you know, hopefully your agent and you were talking to Marvel. So the next actor, I cannot pronounce his name, so I'm just going to put it right here on the screen. Gasparod? We're going to say Gasparod. Now, Gasparod is the lesser known actor on this list. His claim to fame was the prequel movie to Hannibal and Hannibal Rising. Now, the reason why he's on this list, he does still have that like pretty boy but rough look, but he is French. And with Gasparod being French, I think it's going to be easier for him to adapt to that accent more so than anyone else on this list. I mean, he too resembles the character, and the way that he played Hannibal, let's just face it, Hannibal isn't the most like, you're not gonna have a, I wouldn't say, you know, the type of person that if you're a 16-year-old girl, you'd have a poster of him on the back of your door on like a Teen Beat magazine. He's more like a Teen Eat magazine. But I think the mysteriousness of this actor kind of would be perfect to fit into Gambit. I mean, yes, Gambit is, like I said, cocky, he's a thief, but he also has a mystery to him, and I think if you kind of add that element, it's a cool new way to reintroduce a character that we all know and love. Next, we have an actor who I mentioned in my, I want to say it's the second X-Men fan casting episode I did, and that of actor Josh Holloway. Now, with Josh Holloway, he, I think, physically looks like the character more so than anyone on this list. But he is older, so I don't think he will be cast. In fact, he probably won't be cast as his character, but this is the list of 5 actors that could play him. So if they were filming this X-Men movie, this brand new X-Men movie, in the days of the TV show Lost, I mean, there's no brainer. There's no other actor that could play Gambit but Josh Holloway. I mean, he has the long hair, he can do the accent. I've seen him do a couple of different accents in certain movies, but he fits the bill. It's like when I see a picture of Gambit and then I see a picture of Josh Holloway, they just make sense to me. So Josh, if you could reverse time and be a little bit younger, you got the role. Because, you know, I have all the power in casting these things. Alright, next up we have an actor who you probably are waiting for me to mention, and that is Channing Tatum. So we all know by now that Channing actually is, or was, or still is, cast as Gambit in the MCU. Now, his solo movie, oh my gosh, it has been in development hell. And obviously COVID didn't help, but before COVID, this movie was greenlit, and it was paused, and then it was resumed, and then it was canceled, and then it was who knows what's going on with it. But Marvel at this point still plans to move ahead with a solo movie featuring Channing Tatum as a title character. But what do I think when I first heard that Channing was cast? Honestly, I liked it. I mean, let's break this down. Channing Tatum, we all know his body of work. If you've seen Magic Mike, you know his body. He has that charisma. It's like, you know when someone knows they're attractive and they're just like, they just walk around with, you know, their eyebrows up and they're like, hey, how's it going? Yes, you can get me a latte, sure thing. Or you can steal your wallet and you'd be like, oh, Channing, just keep it. He has that kind of air to him, that arrogance, that demeanor of cockiness, I guess you would say. Honestly, I do think he would look really good in the role. Now, his acting chops have gotten better throughout the years. He has done more dramatic, like Foxcatcher. What's a Foxcatcher? I think that was what it's called. I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to butcher that, because it's, you know, the wrestling movie. Fox, you guys are probably screaming the answer to it right now. It was a dramatic take on a real-life event, and I think it's movies like that that can kind of show the range of an actor. And I think Gambit kind of wouldn't be that big of a stretch of an emotional kind of response as an actor, especially with Channing, because I think he would just be playing Channing in the Gambit outfit. Let's be honest. And his age, I think he's around my age, like late 30s, about to be 40s, or maybe he's in the 40s. Either way, he doesn't look his age, and I think physically, he's the second best actor on this list that could portray Gambit. But if Marvel does continue on with Channing playing Gambit, I won't be angry about it. In fact, I will definitely go see it. Like I said, I was excited when they first announced it, and I'm still excited for it to this day. But guys, this is a short, fun little episode just talking about Gambit. What did you think of my top 5 list? Is there an actor that I missed, or is there an actor on this list that you're like, Chris, you're crazy? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But guys, thank you for hanging out with me. And until next time, you know, if we can get as close to the 80s cartoon Gambit as we can, that's what us fans want to see. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Draw 2.